Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Pauly from the channel Old Dog New Tricks.
This is my Forrest Gump wave.
All right, so I got some questions for Pauly. It's a little interview going on. Pauly, if you had the power of God Almighty, what would you change about the world?
What would I change about the world?
If you could change anything, if you had godly powers, what would you change about the world we live in?
Zero.
Zero?
Yeah, because I think God has a perfect plan.
Okay.
So who am I to tell him what to do?
Good answer. What is your biggest achievement in life to this point in time?
I like to think that hasn't happened yet. But as far as achievements, I would say that I've lived more in the last 5 years of my life than I have in the first 62 years. I'm 67 years old.
Okay.
So I would say the biggest achievement was being able to remove myself from America, transplant myself to the Philippines, and not reinvent myself, but actually discover myself.
Wow.
Because for 62 years, I felt like I was suppressing emotions, feelings, etc. And out here, I achieved a sense of freedom to just be me. I didn't have to be the employee. I didn't have to be the husband. I didn't have to be the father. It was an opportunity for me to be selfish and just do what I wanted to do. And so, to me, a big achievement for me is to have the opportunity to stay home and do absolutely nothing.
Okay.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
To me, because it's my choice, and I'm doing exactly what I want to do.
It's your life and it's your choice. That's a great answer. I love that answer. Do you have any regrets in your lifetime?
I have many regrets. I have many.
Could you name a few?
Could I name a few regrets? Yeah. I would say many poor decision makings while under the influence of alcohol.
Okay.
I would say that the majority of my mistakes, bad decisions, life-changing decisions were done when I was under the influence of drinking, of just alcohol.
Myself included. I got to cut Pauly off.
Yeah.
Myself included. It says right on the bottle, may impair your judgment.
Yeah, and it does. And so, if I could go back in time, the proverbial thing, I would never have picked up that first cigarette. I would never have drank that first beer. I would never have snorted that first line of coke. I would never have walked into many of the places that I walked into. But you can't go back in time. So the only thing that you can do is refuse to repeat that behavior. Hopefully learn from it. And but yeah, if you know, a life without regrets is a life not lived. So we're all going to make mistakes. The biggest regret would be to allow those to own you or define you. So I've made my fair share of mistakes, yet I don't feel defined by them.
Okay. So, what brought you to walking into the place? Was it curiosity, or was it just you were searching for something, or you were trying to fill a void in your life, or you just wanted to feel happy, or?
What do you mean walking into when I went into the room that I shouldn't have walked into, or down the street I shouldn't have driven?
Absolutely.
Oh, that was me challenging my own fate. That was me being young, and that was me being guilty of thinking that nothing would ever happen to me.
Like Superman.
Yeah, well, when you're a kid, you know, that's why insurance companies charge so much for people under the age of 25, because we have absolutely no common sense whatsoever. All right, so your brain is not even fully developed until you reach the age of 25. And so all those bad decisions were done. And you know, what's incredible is that a person, not just me, but anybody, can be really a solid guy or woman. Just a good, you know, normal human being. But there's a 5-second interlude that can put you in prison for 30 years.
Yes. One wrong decision.
One wrong moment, one instant where in time where you lose your cool, or you just make that impulsive decision, and it can change your entire life. You can fall off of a building and break your back because you made a goofy idea. Instead of paying the $125 key fee that you were talking about earlier, you decided to scale a wall. Okay, and so those are the things that you know, they end up defining you, but they're not you.
I had the Superman complex and a big ego. It'll never happen to me. I'm not gonna fall.
Yeah.
All these things.
I won't get caught.
Yeah. It happens. It happens to a lot of people, and I happen to be one of them. If you can bring back a non-relative or a non-loved one from the beginning of history, from the beginning of time, who would it be and why? If you could spend like a day with them and you could talk to them, this is not a relative or a non-loved one. This is just a person that you've heard about, reading about, finding out about them on television or media, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Who would you bring back and want to sit next to you in the sense of the beginning of time, and who would it be and why, and what would you talk to them about?
I would bring back Jesus Christ, and I'd spend an afternoon with him.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say a word, I'd just listen.
Just listen? You would have no questions? Zero questions?
I would just listen.
Okay. Okay, somebody's knocking on the door, but they're gonna have to wait. Let's see. If you had the world's attention for a minute, you could get on television. Say there was one television channel that you could broadcast all over the entire globe, and you had 60 seconds to put your message out there. What would you say to them? You have a minute to tell them what you want to tell the world for 60 seconds. What would you say?
You know, I would say that as we look at one another and we judge one another, and maybe we look at each other's skin color, their ethnicity, their background, their economic status, their position in life, that if we all cut ourselves, we all bleed the same color. And that if you were to just live your life where you don't worry about what people think of you, because to be honest with you, they seldom do. And if you could just learn to love one another, as opposed, in spite of their inadequacies. In other words, treat people the way that you want to be treated. And that's a very simple, canned kind of, pageantry kind of answer, sort of like something Miss Universe would say. But because I know that there's bad people in the world, and there's people that you find unlovable, and there are people, so, but if I was to say that to the general public, it would be just to tone it down, put down your sword for a minute, and pick up, a glass and offer it to them, and hopefully they'll take it and share that moment with you.
I think it's an Ten Commandments, treat others as you want it to be treated.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah, love your brother.
We are our
Love thy
brother's
neighbor.
keeper. Love thy neighbor. This one I didn't write. If you could trade places with someone, another person, for 30 days, who would it be and why would you choose that? Not that you want to be somebody else, but if you could like just, I think there was a movie where people traded places in Hollywood. Who would you trade places with for 30 days? Who would it be and why?
For 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Any point in time, or right now, or
Just say tomorrow, they say you got 3 days to figure out who do you want to trade places with. You're actually your soul is actually gonna go into that person, and you're gonna have maybe they have authority, maybe they're the Dalai Lama, maybe they're president of the United States or president, it could be anybody. Why would you want to, not that you want to be somebody else, it's just a question. It's I guess a hypothetical question.
I think I'd be Baby May for a month.
Because you want to understand.
Yeah.
The lady behind the camera, I would like to understand and be Isla drained for 30 days. It'd be interesting to see how Isla thinks and
I would have a complete understanding of her perception of the world, her perception of me. I have no desire to be king. You know what I mean? I have no desire to rule.
If I was king for a day.
Yeah, I have no desire to be a rock star or a movie star or some famous person. I find extraordinary things in ordinary people. Is what I like. And so the people that we put up on pedestals, they put their pants on the same way you and I do. And so they're not extraordinary. Many of them are actually less than because they were born into it or they acquired it by nefarious, methods. And they're really not people that I look up to just because they've got a lot of money or a lot of power or a lot of fame. Granted, there's some talented people out there, but I find the extraordinary really in the ordinary. When I hear Baby May's story of her life and where she came from and where she is today, she impresses me a lot more than somebody that owns a multi-billion-dollar company. Jeff Bezos got nothing on Baby May.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them out there. The money, the power, the fame does not impress me. I have a thing for Elon Musk. I would like to meet him one day because of his, I think he has Asperger's syndrome. I just think he's a genius, and I would like to know what his end goal is for humanity because he wants to put people on Mars.
Oh, he's a guy I admire.
Yeah, he's doing.
There's a lot of guys that I admire, and most of them have Asperger's.
Yeah. So even the most handicapped people are considered on a high level of intelligence. So what's the plan for the vlog for the future?
The plan is no plan. There's never been a plan. The plan was no plan. I started the vlog 2.5 years after living here, and I was kind of coerced into doing it, and it's always has been and always will be.
Can I ask you a question on the end of the right? Who came up with the idea, or who coerced you into starting the vlog?
About 6 guys. I was doing Facebook videos for my family when I moved here, and I would post them on Facebook, and about 20 people were watching it, my family and whatnot. And then I started making friends here in the Philippines, so maybe I had 500-600 Facebook friends, and I was watching YouTube, and I was watching stuff about the Philippines, and I was watching stuff about, grasshoppers, I'd watch anything that interested me. And then one day I made a Facebook video, and it wasn't my apartment, and it wasn't where I was eating, and it wasn't the boulevard. It was called Why I Moved to the Philippines. And I spoke for 30 minutes about some of the challenges and some of my failures and some of the successes. And I posted it up on Facebook. And a guy named Mike, who had a channel called My Philippine something, I forget.
My Philippine Dream?
No, that's another guy.
Okay.
Philippines Experience, I forget, because he's passed away. His name's Mike. Anyway, he saw the video and he goes, hey, can I have that and put it on my channel? I said, okay. Okay. Well, you know, I never knew the guy. And he put it on his channel and got a lot of views. And then a bunch of vloggers saw it and contacted me and they said, we've never seen anything like that before on YouTube. You need to do a channel. I said, I don't want to do a channel. I'm happy doing Facebook.
Yeah.
And then a guy named Monty Crew, who had a channel, he lived by me and he came knocking on my door and he says, you need to do a channel. And I said, I don't even know how to do a channel. I don't even know how to set it up. And so he volunteered. He said, I'll do it. He spent 2 days on my computer setting up the channel. And I said, well, I don't know how to do any of this crap because I'm technically challenged. And he said, well, I'll just do it all for you. You just have to talk. And I'll upload them. I'll do a thumbnail. I'll do everything for you. And he did that for about a month and a half. And then he had to go back to America. And he said, well, pal, you're on your own. You're going to have to figure this out if you want to continue doing it.
Yeah.
So I figured it out. And that's the birth, or the genesis, if you will, of the Old Dog Channel.
I'm super glad you did.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too.
I'm glad he did. Glad Old Dog New Tricks Pauly decided to continue with the vlog. Now I'm trying to think of more questions. So I had some questions written down. I'm trying to think. Might have to edit this part out right here. Pauly's channel is very informative. If you're trying to come here from any other country, it's very educational. You can learn a lot of things. And I consider Pauly almost like a psychiatrist. He's got a lot of, he's been around and he knows how the human mind works and he's very intelligent. And,
you don't know me very well, do you?
Yeah, right. It's a little stressful being in the Philippines because sometimes, what do you think about, like, what's the biggest stressor at it? Because I go through the stresses of we're out of stock, sir, or the paperwork takes so long. It seems like there's a process in the Philippines. It's just so complicated. Like, you can eliminate a lot of the process to get things done. And I've met Filipinos that have been to America and they said, I wish we could just do it like the Americans do it over there. Because it's like 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have all these different things. What frustrates you the most about the Philippines? The way things operate over here?
Well, all the aforementioned does. However, there's what I call the 3 A's. And that way it won't frustrate you, or it can't frustrate you. It can annoy you, it can annoy me for a period of time, like 30 minutes to an hour. And I was like, oh, I wanted that. It didn't happen. But to me, there's the 3 A's. If you come over here, you're gonna have to adapt to the weather, the topography, the geography. You're going to have to adjust to the topography, the weather.
What got you to, I didn't mean to interrupt. Was it the humidity or the temperature?
The temperature.
The temperature?
Yeah.
It wasn't the humidity?
No, this is nothing compared to other places I've lived.
Okay.
But the most important thing that some guys cannot do is the 3rd A, and that's accept. You have to be able, or I had to be able to simply accept the new reality.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to change when I left America. Well, I got it. So now it's my choice. Am I going to accept it? Because it's always going to be out of stock. And there's always going to be a brownout.
Exactly.
And there's always going to be a traffic jam. And there's always going to be I could go on. I could waterboard you,
Yeah.
you know, with examples for another 30 minutes. But I accept that, and I just, you know, kick the can down the road till tomorrow. All right, what happened tomorrow?
That's good. So you don't let the stress doesn't keep playing over and over in your mind, and you don't let the stress overwhelm you. I went through that myself. I had to get out of the Jersey state of mind and the New York state of mind and just realize that I'm in a totally different place on the other side of the big blue marble, and when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and just let it go. And there's no change in it.
Yeah, and you know what always relaxes me was what I told myself when the first day I got here to last night is I'm only a plane ticket away from home. I mean, if it becomes to a point where the Philippines is not for me, where it's now unacceptable for whatever reason, okay. All I gotta do is go home,
So
or go somewhere else.
You have your limits.
Well, everybody's got limits. But with me, it's just more of an attitude, and it tends to relax me. It's like, well, if it's so bad, I can get out. You know, I'm not in jail. And it's not like I was sent here. It's not like Rikers Island. You know? It's Negros Oriental. You know, so if it becomes too much at some point in time or impossible, then it's up to me to make yet another change. And change is good. It's good to rattle your own cage every now and then. We better let them know.
What do they say? Live outside of your comfort zone?
Always.
You're not living until you live out of your comfort zone.
You can do that, but you just sign it off. You can just sign off and edit that in.
Yeah.
All right, we're back again. I'm here with Pauly, Old Dog, New Tricks, and I got a new friend. I respect Pauly's opinion, and I think he's a very smart man, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with him in the future, and I'm so glad that he came by, took time out of his day. He's stressing out about a couple things. I mentioned it in the video on Pauly's channel. If somebody could please help him out, because I don't know who you are, but please help him out. And that's it. Bobby D signing off. Old Dog, New Tricks, we're
I'm out.
signing off. We're out of here.
Thanks for having me, guy.
Welcome. Anytime, Pauly.
All right.